small business owners, because what we want to give you guys an opportunity to do is see how these folks, how they use the sites that we've been talking about, and some of the challenges and opportunities that they see. So if y'all could tell us a little bit about yourselves.
I'm Abby Schwartz, and I actually, I work with Morgan. I actually work at Yelp. I am Yelp Elite, but I can speak to some of that, but I also, I'm the community manager for San Francisco, so I work very closely with the Yelp Elite squad. I handle marketing and events. I also work with small business owners like Krista, so if I can shed some light from a Yelp perspective and a community perspective on some of these questions you might have.
My name is Michael Wing. I've been Yelping for 6 years, and 5 years ago they invited me to become Yelp Elite. And it's been a great experience, and I love sharing my perspective with other members of the Elite community and interacting with business owners all the time.
Michael, one of my favorite questions to always ask at the beginning is, a lot of times there is this common misconception out there that elites are in their mother's basement typing away reviews all day long. Can you just share what your day job is? Just because while we typically have a couple different elites on panels, the versatility and the incredible range as far as how well-rounded you are is always impressive. So go ahead and brag.
When I'm not in the basement, I'm a software engineer for Salesforce.
Thank you. And then business owners, would you like to introduce yourselves?
Sure. My name is Krista Hill. I recently opened up a tiny little cookie company called Hey Cookie. Prior to that, I had about 16 years in nonprofit management work under my belt. And Yelp, Facebook, Twitter, they've all helped Hey Cookie grow substantially. I think Yelp has actually been the greatest asset. I get 1 to 5 calls a day or points of contact a day due to Yelp reviews, and I'm so grateful. I have about $0 invested in my marketing budget, but I've been able to tap into these different resources. It's been very helpful.
My name is Amy, and I have a family business, Bow Wow Meow. I've been in business for our first store for 27 years now. And the San Francisco store we've had for 14 years. And we're dealing with the internet. I'm not, it came to us. You know, we started before it all went crazy, and we're just dealing with it. And hopefully we'll be able to keep on going. So that's pretty much it.
Do you have your second location, is that in the Peninsula?
That's our first location.
I've been there.
And we have another one in Menlo Park.
Yeah,
that's our next.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess we're dealing pretty well. Yeah, we're working on it. We have Main Street Hub.
Yeah, I was going to say kind of a transitional question for you, and if you'd like to kick it off. Because you started getting greeted with all these new online review sites, social media sites, what's your secret sauce when it comes to having a great online reputation?
I don't know that we have a great online reputation. We really didn't know. It just seriously happened to us. And we had some panicky moments. I mean, we're old-fashioned. It was there. And we tried different things and got overwhelmed. And honestly, I was just saying to Andrew that we got a cold call when I was being onslaughted with bad reviews. And I got a cold call from Main Street Hub. And I was like, okay, which I think it's the only time I've done business that way. And they've helped me, and I've been with them now from almost the beginning, I guess. I didn't know.
Pretty long time, like over 3 years now.
Yeah, over 3 years, and it's actually been really helpful. And I barely look at Facebook. I barely look at Twitter. I get my monthly reviews from Main Street Hub that activity is happening. I'm like, great.
So one thing, do you want to explain, Andrew, what Main Street Hub does for businesses, just so they have a better understanding of that?
Sure. So Main Street Hub, what we do, I mean, we're a do-it-for-you platform for local businesses. So we're kind of the voice for local businesses. What we do is every business has a team of people that help create content and post on Facebook, like you saw during the presentation, and also help them optimize, respond to reviews, and then we send those reports over on to people like Amy.
Beautiful. Krista, do you want to share just what your secret sauce is with your great online reputation?
Thank you. I think I try to treat every customer like a member of my family. Some days you have, if you have or should have a negative review, I just want to make sure that that person is heard. Luckily, I've only had one negative review in the history of 3 years, and I actually sat on it for months, like 6 months, and I was terrified to address the person, but I went to a Yelp Elite event, and there she was, Marissa H. Dun, 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 dun. And I was like, oh my God, there she is, I hope she likes cookies. And I actually talked to someone who works at Yelp, Jessica, and she said, Krista, just talk to her. And I'm like, oh, I don't want to talk to her, but I did. I addressed her and I asked her if I could bring her a special platter on Valentine's Day. It seemed to work. The 1-star review went to a 4-star review. I wanted to engage her and let her know that her negative reviews were just as important as the positive reviews, and I asked her to be a part of my sort of cookie panel. So anytime I bring out a new cookie, Marissa H. gets to be one of the first taste testers. So it's about, I think, creating a close relationship with your folks, whether positive or negative, and just trying to nurture and remember that they are why you're in business. With my nonprofit background, I think I use my tools in volunteer management, and I parallel that with my customer base. So I'm just very, very grateful for all of the positive reviews I've had and the following on Facebook and Twitter, etc.
I think like with so many business owners that are out there that have been in business since before Yelp existed, before Facebook existed, like Amy, there are things outside of social media that are still really important. I was wondering, like, what other types of things do both of you guys do outside of social media to help attract customers in?
I wear ridiculous outfits every day. I could be walking down 18th Street and people say, oh my God, there's a cookie lady. Hi. But apart from that, I'm a one-woman show, so I have to handle everything from baking the cookies, doing the shopping, doing the invoicing, checking to see what's happening on Facebook, finding goofy dresses to put on, and connecting with new companies. I guess one thing that I try to do is see what's going on in the city and what different events that Hey Cookie could fit in. So if there's a fun, cheap SF event happening that might have many people involved, I try to be there. Another way I try to connect is trying to donate at least once or twice a month to a nonprofit organization. So with each donation, with each time I'm going to a different event with a nonprofit, I'm connecting to that many people, additional people.
So 14 years ago when we decided to open the San Francisco store, that was a big jump for us. And I basically went around everywhere that I knew there were going to be dogs and was prepared. I had cards and cookies, and I just talked to everybody and told everyone about us. I walked around with Bow Wow Meow balls that I gave away. And we did a lot of donations and parties, and it was a lot of work. And I've kind of slowed that down, but that was really effective, to be honest. That was probably the most effective marketing I've done.
It's great. I think offline and online combination is really important nowadays, especially when you're starting to generate awareness. Back 14 years ago, still, I would still like that today if I were at a dog park with my dog and saw that. Okay, so for the elites transitioning over, would love to hear what motivates you to write reviews, whether it's Yelp or Facebook or tweets about something on Twitter, etc. What kind of is the main driver for you guys?
Well, we've all had great experiences and bad experiences, and I think Yelp is a great way for us to help improve the local businesses and the places that we go every day. So for the good businesses, we want to make sure that they keep doing what they're doing. And for the bad ones, we want to make sure that they get constructive feedback, or if they're not willing to improve, that maybe we let our friends know so they don't go through the same bad experiences. And the second part is just to be a part of the elite community has been a great experience. We have maybe 2 or 3 events per month that Abby organizes. And businesses who are maybe starting out or want to get the word out, they'll invite the elite community out to kind of maybe get their feedback and kind of get a good first round of reviews maybe. So yeah, that's...
Perfect. Yeah, and Abby, do you want to explain like the event page versus the business page when you do an elite event?
So yes, as Michael indicated, I help organize events for a private group of Yelpers, so an elite like Michael. And when we have an event, we actually create a separate business page for the event because businesses want the feedback, and we definitely want to know if we're planning a good party or not. And we create a separate page where people review their event experience. So for instance, I just had an event at the new Michael Mina ramen place. It's just around the corner actually. And the ramen bar was really good. And so people wrote a review of, it was from 3 to 5, so we called it ramen for dinner, late lunch, early dinner. So they reviewed the ramen bar for dinner page, and if they like the ramen bar, which most of them did, they're gonna go back for lunch or dinner on their own time $1, and then they can review the ramen bar directly. We feel that's a much more fair way to do things.
Definitely.
And also staying in with you guys, the elites, like elite Yelpers, so everybody here knows, these are the people that are at the top, who are writing reviews, tons and tons of reviews, and are using Yelp as like a huge tool for them to find businesses. And I think it's really interesting always to kind of get your perspective on what kind of motivates you to try a business out the first time. Like, what are you using to say, okay, was it the reviews, is it the rating, you know, what motivates you to go into a business from the get-go?
Number one is the reviews, is the number of reviews and the average review rating. Number 2, usually I'll filter on $signs, so maybe 1 and 2 would be one category, and then $3 sign may not be much more, but psychologically it's a big jump. And then of course there's the photos to decide whether you want to go there, or if you go there to decide what to order. Yeah, and also what your friends recommend. Maybe you wouldn't normally go to a 3-star or 2.5-star place, but you know your friends are talking about it, so you just want to see what the hype is about.
In terms of like the reviews, is it like a word that kind of sticks out to you when people are like saying, "Oh, this is the most amazing taco I've ever had"? Like, or is there like a phrase that you see a lot that kind of gives you that little oomph to go in? Or what do you say? What do you say in a review to a business that you really want other people to try?
I might say, don't try this place, because I don't want to deal with the lines. No, I mean, the superlatives are probably the best way to get people in there. This is a fantastic taco. I've never had anything like this. But I think the 5 stars speaks for itself, because Yelp has a little phrase for 5 stars is, it's as good as it gets. So.
Yeah, I know, I think that's good, and then you also said after like the reviews and who's writing the reviews, the other big thing is the photos. And if you are not a high trafficked restaurant, let's say, you, as I mentioned earlier in the presentation, you can actually upload an unlimited number of photos within your business owner's account. The interesting thing is beyond just that review text, so the written reviews that are on any given business page, we actually had our engineers look at consumer behavior on business pages with photos and compared it to consumer behavior on business pages without any photos. And what they found, to kind of what you were leading to, is that a picture is worth 1,000 words. Consumers tend to stay on business pages on Yelp with photos 2.5 times longer than those without. So regardless of the kind of business you are, internal, external photos of your business, what it looks like from the street, if you're going there for the first time is good. I personally like a nice headshot of a friendly dentist. That typically is something that tips me over the edge whenever I've moved for a different job. Clean space, before and after photos, anything like that, you have at it. You have an unlimited number of photos that you can upload. So that definitely plays an important factor as well. To kind of transition into that, I would love to hear from the business owners as far as some of the favorite free tools you have within your Yelp business owner account that you use often, or elsewhere, ways in which you engage or optimize your presence online. I don't mean to stump you.
Via Yelp or through?
Yelp or anywhere else. I mean, I think that this at this point is just to give some
Sure.
just helpful insights.
Well, I am sure to answer every Yelp review. Thank the person for taking the time to out of their day to write about Hey Cookie, and thank them for their kind words. I haven't actually tapped into the tools as much as I should, apart from putting on photos, but that might just be due to a limited amount of time, or maybe I need a little bit more of a tutorial. But with Facebook, I try to grow my Facebook presence by 1,000 new Facebook likes a year. So it's been 3 years, and now I'm up to, yesterday it was 3,333, a nice, nice number. And I can honestly say that the Facebook following and the Twitter followers and the Yelp folks, they keep me going, because when you run into someone and they say that, oh, I follow you on Facebook, I follow you on Twitter, or I wrote a Yelp review about you, it really helps to remind me why I'm doing this. It's the connections that I make with individuals. So I try to give away free cookies if you like me on Facebook, or if you like me on Twitter. I can't do anything as far as the Yelp reviews are concerned, but I always ask them to check me out on Yelp. And through all of these contacts that I've been able to make, the sort of Hey Cookie family that's grown, last year, Hey Cookie, surprisingly to me, won Best of the Bay for desserts in The Guardian, which was a huge coup for a person who's working out of her kitchen in the Castro.
Amy?
Okay, so basically the only way that I really have used it is my hours and new services that I might have. And once in a while, an offer. Usually we put our special offers on our website, and I should probably utilize the internet better, which is, I guess, why I'm here.
You don't give yourself enough credit. Those are 3 huge, really important tools, especially on Yelp. That's wonderful. One thing I would say from the mobile app users, I know we kind of highlighted the fact that a lot of these users are going from start to finish somewhere and doing these searches on their mobile phones or smartphones. Really good kudos to you to have your hours up and correct on Yelp, because a lot of people tend to filter their search results based on who's open now. So having those up and active and correct allows you to be a contender, I like to say, in the more targeted filtered search results. If you don't have your hours up, for example, you are not a relevant search result in those specific situations. So I tend to see a lot of consumers saying that if they're in need of something now, they're going to filter based on that feature of who's open now. So, no, that's wonderful.
Yeah, I was using that last night to find some place to eat, and it worked. And I think I'd want to try to give everybody one more opportunity to answer this question, and then turn this over to you guys for any questions that you may have. And so if we could just start with the elites and then move over to the business owners. If you had one tip that you could give another business owner out there right now that could help them with their social media, help them market their business, or help them create a conversation with other people through social media, what tip would you give them?
I started in San Diego, and let me give a little story about a business called Sweet Home Chicago. They make pizza. It was the best deep dish pizza I've had. I wrote a good review for them, and he reached out to me saying, I don't know if you're aware of the review of the day that Yelp chooses. So they'll choose kind of one review to feature on the front page of the community, and mine was chosen. So he saw this and he sent me a message telling me to bring a group of my friends out and he'd take care of us. So I brought a group of my elite friends out, and he treated us to free beer and pizza, and chatted with us, told us his vision for the pizza place, and we gave him feedback. And you know, from there he got thousands of reviews, and I'm not sure what he's doing now, but he really used Yelp in a great way there, I thought. So.
And I think one thing to just tack on, just to paint a more complete picture with that, engaging with your customers it's very little the number of businesses that actually tap into those free tools. Just to give them some perspective, can you share just your total number of reviews you've written on Yelp, and then how many responses, positive or negative, that you've gotten from business owners, just to share that? Like a guesstimate, maybe?
Guesstimate. I have 161 reviews, and maybe I've had six to eight
Have been
responses.
responded to.
Yeah.
So definitely take advantage of it. I mean, I think, I'll let you guys finish answering the question, but Krista, it sounds like, does a great job just sending a quick thank you via private message to her customers. I think that goes a long way. Somebody who, writes you this amazing review, and then you just say, acknowledge, the thank you for taking that time out of your day to go ahead and write something.
What I always tell my friends who are starting small businesses, whether they be a personal trainer or a ballroom dancer, is to set up a Yelp account and to try to encourage people to look at that Yelp account. I know it sounds like I'm getting paid for this, but I cannot. All of my business comes through Yelp. I don't do any additional online or any additional paid marketing, but every time I ask someone who contacts me how they found out about me, it's all through the Yelp reviews. And I'm just so grateful. It's opened up the doors for me at the MoMA, Twitter, Apple, Google, and it's just a one-person show, so I'm so grateful to have that visibility that I wouldn't have elsewhere.
Yeah, I would have to agree that Yelp is it's really powerful. I have had more people come look for jobs, more customers coming for services through Yelp than any other online media. I mentioned that earlier. You want to build that relationship, and I would say that Main Street Hub has helped me a lot with that. Because I am really surprised about the number of responses. I thought it was just something you had to do now, was respond to every single Yelp. So thank you for helping me with that. But yeah, I would definitely encourage everybody. I tell people the same thing you do. Just make sure you respond, positive and negative.
Okay, so for anybody out in the crowd, if you have a question, just raise your hand, and then Yen's going to come over with a microphone, and you can ask that question.
Hi, good morning. Thank you for the small business owners. My question to you is, with all this work you have to do, how long does it take you per day to actually do this work?
I get a little obsessive. I check Yelp at least once a day to see if there are any new reviews, because it's always really exciting to see what people have to say. But time-wise, I would say if I don't get distracted, it's only like 15 minutes. You just look at your Yelp page, post something on Twitter, post something on Facebook. But I think what is important to remember is to also not create a sense of fatigue for your audience, not to overpost. At the most, I'll post only once a day on Facebook, or I try to do it just like maybe 3 times a week, because you don't want people to get annoyed with what you're putting up. And try to mix it up as far as the content. But yeah, it can be very simple.
I hired Main Street Hub. So, and even so, with when there are bad reviews, I tend to spend a lot. I don't check because it's painful. And when I do come across it, I can spend a lot of time just, editing and getting in touch with Main Street Hub to change a response, or it can take hours, I hate to say it, when it comes to that, because we do care and it is personal. So that's, I guess it depends how much activity there is as to how much time you spend.
One thing I'll just share with the audience. So when you actually claim your business page, there's a section titled Account Settings, and you can actually opt in to get an email notification whenever a new review is posted to your page. So you don't have to constantly be, checking and middle of the night checking. You'll just get an email that'll let you know, hey, a new review has been posted. Would you like to review or respond to the review, etc. So I thought I'd share that. Anyone, if that takes a little bit of worry out of your day.
Good morning, everybody. I have a one-man business. I'm an officiate, and signed up for Yelp last year. It was counterintuitive. I didn't really think I needed that. I was getting a couple of referrals here and there. It was very nice. It was a free account. Then I signed up, and in the first week, I got 7 weddings and a funeral. And now I'm getting 98% of my referrals from Yelp. So I had a question for you. I actually have 2 questions. One, how can you motivate your clients to review your business without, I don't want to offer anything, obviously, that's not where I'm at. I'm very lucky I have all 5-star reviews, so that's kind of cool. And then the next question is, what does Main Street Hub cost?
Okay, so I guess I'll take those questions then. So there's a lot of things you can do to motivate people to write reviews. Kind of like what we talked about earlier with soft touch points, making sure on your business card that you have a Yelp logo, a Facebook logo, a Twitter logo, stuff like that is incredibly important. Anywhere that is kind of outward to your customers, to make sure that you're including those logos just so they know that they're there. The other part of it is, which we really work on at Main Street Hub, is cross-promotion. So what I mean by that is that when you have a lot of fans over on your Facebook page, or you have a lot of reviews in one area, to let those customers know about the other sites. So posting, you get a great review on Yelp, post that up on your Facebook page, let people know about it. And there's a couple of kind of great psychological effects that happen from that. Number one, you're letting people know that you monitor your Yelp reviews. Number 2, you're shouting out and giving kind of a high five to that customer who gave you a positive review. And so what that does, if I'm one of your customers, and maybe I've been coming to you for years, or maybe I just came to you last week, I like getting talked about online, and I like knowing that the business cares about me. So there's a little bit of a motivation from me to say, hey, you want to know what? I'll leave a review about my experience with your business in the hopes that you might give me a shout out on one of your other platforms. In terms of cost for Main Street Hub, it's different for every business. We try to tailor it to your needs, but I would say most people spend between $200 to $300 a month.
Yes, I am a freelance photographer, and I don't have regular business hours. All my work is by appointment only. What do you advise me to do on my Yelp page to address that?
You can do one of 2 things. So for starters, within your business owner's account, are you pretty familiar with the back end of it?
Sadly, I'm here to motivate myself.
Okay, good. So no, this is perfect. So once you've actually claimed your page, you're going to be able to look at the back end of your business Yelp page. You're going to see your activity graph, and then there's going to be a left-hand column with a ton of different sections that you can plug in information. The very first tab is titled Business Information, and when you click on that, there are blue edit buttons next to a bunch of different sections. The first of which will allow you to actually add in your, so it's going to actually allow you to add in, thank you. You can say we're by appointment only, but then the other thing you can do with your hours is actually only fill out hours that apply to the times in which you're willing to answer your phone. Are you able to see that?
I pulled up pay cookies.
Oh, perfect. Okay, great. Thank you. That really helps. Yep, so you can do both of those things. All right, we have some.
Yep. I'll just.
Thank you. Good morning. My name is Jesse Spivey, and I work as a paralegal at California Traffic Defenders here in San Francisco. We have 2 locations, and we're definitely trying to move towards a different market in terms of client base. Our client base prior to this business kind of rebranding itself has been cab drivers, taxi drivers, Now we're trying to expand to everyone, How do you recommend that we motivate not just the clients to get involved with the social media, but the team as well? My boss is constantly saying, I'm not tech savvy. A lot of the people I work with are, let's see the PC way of saying they're more seasoned than me. So, they're not really tech savvy. So how do you get not only the clients to motivate themselves to be involved with the social media, especially those who may not be as tech savvy, as well as the employees as well, because I feel it's also important for not just, me to be carrying the boat, but, to have other people on board as well.
I think, so there's a couple things going on. You're kind of opening up your potential client base, right? So Yelp specifically on your business pages, what you want to do is update your categories to be a little bit more relevant to the kind of new client that you're targeting. Within your business owner's account as well, and before I go into all this, Yelp is very much a set it and forget it website with the exception of new reviews coming in, and adding that email notification of when a new review comes in will save you from constantly checking and checking and checking when something comes up that's new as far as reviews go. But with regards to optimizing your profile on the business owner side, set it and forget it. So what that means is updating your categories, as I mentioned, but then you can also add what your business specializes in, the history of your business, and a bio about you. It sounds like maybe the person who will be the face of the different firms and responding to reviews that come in over time. The benefit of taking advantage of those 3 sections, you have a total that totals up to 3,000 characters of information, so that you can add in information about the specific kinds of laws that you practice, the clientele that you're focusing on. So if somebody's doing a search on Yelp for your kind of, law and area of focus, that actually is taken into account in the search results that come up. So our search algorithm is looking at a ton of different things, but one of the things it's looking at to find relevant businesses is what you've added in your business information section. So I would definitely take advantage of that. And then beyond that, I would kind of parlay into some of Andrew's recommendations about giving shout outs on Facebook of reviews that you're really excited about, anything, tweet about it, anything like that that kind of generates this buzz online is great. And then in the back of your mind, you also want to I want to manage expectations that reviews in this particular category are going to come at a lot slower pace than something like a restaurant or retail related business. Some people are not going to want to admit that they've had to have help. Some people are not going to want to share that with the greater community at large in the online space. So just know that those reviews are going to take a little bit longer to come in.
Yeah, I guess the only thing I would add to that too is, in addition to Yelp, make sure that you're following kind of best practices that she was talking about with all the other review sites as well. In terms of creating social awareness, of course, buzz is huge. And actually, for anybody who's interested, we're doing a webinar tomorrow with Yelp, also talking about how mobile, social, and customer reviews have become a huge driver for SEO, kind of like the new SEO. So what we found is that about 7 out of 8 of the top factors for people when they're just doing a search, so on something for you, this would be really, really key, are all social factors. So they're going to be looking at the verbiage that's on your Facebook page. I mean, looking at your overall audience is kind of social proof that your site is the correct one to go to. So make sure that, again, you're building that awareness on those profiles as well. Thank you.
Yeah, this is a technical question with Yelp. I've had a business page there for several years. And I get emails about who's visited the page. On the left-hand side there, underneath the business information, there are numbers. I remember maybe a year and a half ago, I went back and looked at the analytics, and I haven't done it since. How should I look at those, and how should I use those numbers? There's those who've looked at the site, at the page, and then those who have gone to our website.
Sure. So there's a couple-part answer for you. For starters, so my colleague and I, Darnell, and I write that newsletter, and every week we're including your weekly stats. So anything that goes beyond your user views, we also include mobile phone calls that we can track for that week, any clicks to your website, check-ins to your business. I think the best thing for you to just take note of is when you actually, just below those stats, every week there's a section that says, log in or click here to check out all of my metrics and my numbers. I would recommend every few months just go in there and take a look at what the overall numbers are looking like from a 12-month perspective. If you have any zeros next to any of those data points that we're able to track in there for you, I would take a look at making sure that, why do I have 0 web clicks? Maybe you don't have your website up yet. Or maybe there are directions that are being mapped, but it's not as high as you'd like. Make sure that your address is correct. If you have a check-in offer, if that's at 0 right now, maybe creating a check-in offer is something that will cause someone to let you know that they're actually in your place of business. So just making sure that those data points look healthy and fall in line with the kind of business you run is probably the best way to take a look at it. Those particular data points for everyone in the audience, so in your business account, the second activity section is titled Customer Leads. So we talked to thousands of different businesses across the country and found out that a lot of people, a lot of businesses say that a really hot lead or a warm lead to becoming an actual customer are things like clicks to my website, mobile phone calls, directions mapped, photos uploaded, etc. And so those are the data points that we actually track as much as we can within your business owner's account, and then we deliver it in a weekly format to you in the newsletter.
Thank you.
So maybe, 2 more questions, and then we'll break for networking?